Hey friends, I'm Stacy and today we're going to test the e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint. I'm really excited about this, you guys. I got two different colors because I tend to fall in between a light neutral and a medium neutral, so I'm not sure which one of these will best suit my skin or if I'll have to mix them together, but I'll swatch them both and show you guys if you run into that same problem when you're picking out skin tints or foundation. I do have to say, I think the packaging on these is really cute. It's kind of a very soft, dusty pink, and it's like a hard plastic. This is a mineral SPF 50, which I absolutely love for all skin, but especially for mature skin. For those of you brand new to my channel, I am a 53-year-old master in medical esthetician, and I'm passionate about all things skincare, beauty, fashion, and aging beautifully from the inside out. So before we get started, I'm going to clip my hair back. Usually I do my makeup before I fix my hair. Today I fixed my hair before my makeup, so I'm going to pin it out of the way. I did pick up these Kitsch cute little plastic claw clips, so I'm going to try them out today. I'll probably give a set of them to my daughters, Bella and Abby. They may use them in different ways than I'm using them now. Sometimes when I clip my hair out of my way after I've already styled it, I just kind of lightly twist it back. And I wanted to show you guys a couple other things that I picked out. Some of you know I recently went to Turkey and had some surgery. I had some body contouring surgery. I had a tummy tuck and a full body lift, some liposuction, and a tiny bit of fat transfer or BBL to my backside, but it was a very tiny amount. I'll talk more about that in an upcoming video this week. It's taking me a while to put it together because it's a lot of information and video from Turkey. Before I went to Turkey, I got this bag from Sonia Kashuk, and I love it that it's a really heavy, durable, clear bag that wipes up easily. It actually came with a smaller insert bag that I have at home, and I have my lash supplies in it. Right now I'm at my office, so I just brought this one with me, and you can see everything through the bag. This is one of the nicer makeup bags that I've had. And I also picked this up from Target. It holds my brushes, and what was nice is that it fit inside this bag. So when I got there, I could just open this bag and then it stands up. It's kind of dirty, so pardon how dirty the plastic is on this. But you just kind of fold back this part and it stands nicely on the counter. I think when I've traveled in the past, I've had all my brushes kind of loose all over the bathroom counter, and this just makes it so much easier for grabbing the brush that you need rather than just having a mess all over. This one was super cheap and it actually came in a 2-pack, so I gave one to my daughter Bella. So let's jump into the Halo Glow Skin Tint and see how it works. I haven't tried these at all, so I'm going to just give them a good shake. And we'll start out with the light neutral. I'm just going to test this. So this one's going to be, like I suspected, the light neutral is going to be too light. Let's see how the medium neutral looks. If you're more fair than I am, that might be one to consider. It's definitely a nice texture of formula. It's thin. Let me shake this one up. And this one is the medium neutral. Let me test it also on my neck. This one's pretty good, actually. I could probably put a dab of the light neutral in with this medium neutral. Let's see how they look when I mix them. I think I might mix them. I could totally get by with just the medium neutral, but since I have both, I may as well mix them and just make a perfect blend. Sometimes I struggle with getting the right color because I usually do fall somewhere between the light and the medium. So I often like it when they have a light medium range that's kind of in between. So I like the consistency of this. It has a very light feel. So I'm just going to use my fingers to initially blend it in. And because this has SPF 50, I do like to bring this up around my eyes just to make sure the skin around my eyes has adequate sun protection. Now, you guys know I'm a freak about SPF, so I did do SPF as part of my skincare routine. It is always good to layer extra SPF. I typically don't rely just on my skin tints for SPF. I do use a regular SPF as part of my skincare, and that's partially because I am a freak about skincare, and I know so much of the aging process comes from sun exposure and sun damage. So this seems like a satiny finish. It does have some moisture to it, but it is not oily feeling or heavily dewy. Now I believe these are $18 a piece, so a very good price point, and I think e.l.f. is really doing a good job competing with very high-end products. I'm going to take a rougher, this is an LC03 brush, and just blend it in a little bit more. So for those of you who have been following my surgery journey, I'm posting a lot more on Instagram, kind of about the daily stuff and some pictures, before and after pictures. I'll have all of that in the video that I'm putting out this week. But if you want more frequent updates, definitely follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and I'm also on TikTok. Just search @GorgeouslyAging and you'll find me there. I am 3 weeks post-surgery, a few days past 3 weeks. I'm definitely starting to feel much better. I was able to leave home and come to my office today, and it feels good to get out of the house and just do some normal stuff. Working has always been really important to me, so when I'm not working, I feel a little more anxious. I feel like my work gives me such a sense of productivity, and my focus is so intent on what I'm doing for work that I don't have time to be anxious. So for me, content creation is like an anxiety fighter, and I absolutely miss that when I'm not creating content or working or keeping my mind busy. So I would definitely say the medium, for me, the medium neutral is a better choice. I did mix it a little bit with the light neutral. But if I were just going to go back and repurchase, I would repurchase just the medium neutral. So I have a few new products to share with you guys that I have really enjoyed and tried a few times. This is the new IT Cosmetics Do It All Concealer, Radiant Concealer, and I'm going to use the light neutral. This does have a spongy applicator and a twist up type of dispenser. So I'm just going to dot, dot a little. I got a little heavy handed there, but I will blend it out. You really only need to twist it once, and I twisted it like 3 times. But we will make this work. So I'm going to use the Rephr concealer brush. This is the LC01. I really have been liking the Rephr brushes. I took them with me on my trip to Turkey, and they've just been what I've been reaching for lately. They are a bit more pricey than like your drugstore brushes, but they're really good quality, and I think they perform really well. I like the shape of this concealer brush, and both the size and the softness of the bristles is really nice. This needs a little cleaning, but they perform super well. I'm going to go back to the foundation brush just to blend this in and diffuse the edges of this under eye concealer. I'm going to take what's left on this concealer brush and just go around my nose. And then I am going to take my Rephr sponge and just go through and make sure there isn't excess around my eyes. I'm using this dry. And then I'm going to use the Givenchy Prism Libre powder. This I am obsessed with. You guys, I try both drugstore and higher end products, and I often think you can get really great drugstore products that are as good as high end, but I have to say I haven't found a powder that works as well as this one. At least right now, I keep reaching for this. I'm so impressed with it. So if you enjoy testing out high-end products, definitely give this Givenchy Prism Libre powder a try. I'll list everything down in the description box below, including the colors I'm using, so you can go check that out. So I'm going to start by using a smaller brush. This is the Rephr 18 brush. It's kind of a tapered brush, but I'm just going to go get a little bit, tap it off, and set the under eye. You definitely don't want too much powder under the eye for mature skin. And I'm going to get around the nose and just sweep a little bit on the upper eyelid. And then I'm going to use this Rephr powder brush. This one is the Rephr 30. And just lightly set the rest of my face, especially the T-zone, and then just kind of sweep around the rest of the face. I'm going to take a Q-tip and just wipe off my eyebrows so there's not a lot of makeup on there, so when I do my brows, it actually adheres. But before I move on to brows, I'm going to show you guys the new Westman Atelier. This is the Sculpting Powder Duo. So we have a blush here and a bronzer. And I love Westman Atelier. Again, they're a little bit pricey. I have the full line of Westman Atelier, and it's something that I think they do an amazing job on the formula and the packaging. This is a heavier, it's not plastic, it's more like a metal with a beautiful like powder coated soft, dusty pink finish. This is the difference between the pink on the e.l.f. skin tint and the Westman Atelier packaging. Before we get into this, I need to put something on my lips because they have been so dry since my surgery. So let me just put something on there to prime them a little so they're not so dry. I'm going to use the e.l.f. Squeeze Me Lip Balm. You guys probably remember back in the day when e.l.f. was brand new and the products were super cheap, like $1, $2, and they weren't very good quality. That has definitely changed. I think most brands realize if they're going to compete with Sephora and Ulta, they're going to have to really up their game in terms of formulas and quality and even packaging. And I think across the board, all drugstore brands have done that. And e.l.f. has really mastered that, duping a lot of really high-end brands. All right, don't mind my crusty lips. So we're gonna go into the bronzer first. Usually I like a cream bronzer, but we're just gonna go in with the powder bronzer today. I absolutely love the color of this one. They do such a great job making sure their bronzer colors aren't too orangey. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of contour here and jawline. And then take some that's left and just kind of connect these two on the side of the face. This is the Rephr 05 brush. I'll list everything down below. I like the size and shape of this brush. And I'm also going to go along my hairline. There's also this brush, which I think is nice for bronzer. It's bigger. This is the 22 brush, but if you have a big forehead like mine, it makes really quick work of putting on the bronzer, but also diffusing it so it doesn't look patchy or not blended well. This is probably one of my favorite brushes in the whole Rephr line. I just love the quality of this brush, but also the shape and how it blends makeup so nicely. I'm gonna go back to that 05 brush and just pick up a little of this blush. That's such a pretty color. I think it's Baby Cheeks. We've got Baby Cheeks and Face Trace are the colors I'm using in this palette. And then I'm going to do my eyeshadow with the Mented. This is the Every Night eyeshadow palette. This is the first product I've tried from Mented, the brand, and I actually really like this palette. I think it just has such a nice range of colors. The formula is good, they blend well, and they last well. So I'm going to start with this lighter color. With this one, I am using a BK Beauty 212 brush. I just love this brush. I have the Rephr eyeshadow brushes too, and I think they're fantastic. I go back and forth between the Rephr brushes and the BK Beauty brushes. So this one I'm just laying down kind of a foundation or a transition color. And then I'm going to go into this soft brown. These are mattes that I'm using. And just kind of build up. I have deep set eyes, and so I'm going to wear my eyes where this kind of protrusion comes from the bone there. And I'm just kind of building this up to give the eyes a lift, and this also works for hooded eyes. So go above where it's hooding and create lift kind of by back and forth here, building up that color. I'm gonna create a little bit of lift here by dragging this up towards the tail of the brow. I tend to stick with a lot of mattes. If I'm going out in the evening, I might pop a little shimmer in the movable lid here, right about there. I just feel like at my age of 53, mattes are more flattering. That's just my preference. I think shimmers are beautiful, so if you love your shimmers, definitely keep using them. I think ultimately makeup is about creativity and personal style. So there is no right or wrong way. It's what you like and what makes you feel confident. I'm gonna use the Rephr 28 brush, and this is kind of a flatter brush. I like to use the tip of it. I'm going to go into the same medium brown color or light brown color. And I'm going to use that to tie the upper in with the lower lash line. You can do that with any flat brush, just use the edge. I find this technique to be more flattering than using an eyeliner. It's just softer, it diffuses better. I mean, that's just my preference. I definitely back in the day would do a really hard lower liner. I've gotten away from that. It's just not my style anymore. Sometimes I use a little heavier liner. If I'm going out at night, I might do a little heavier liner, but for daytime, I tend to use this eyeshadow technique. Now I'm going to use the rougher, this is the 04 brush. It has a little bit more taper to it. And I'm going to go in with this tiny bit deeper brown. It's kind of a warm brown. And just a little more depth right through here and in the corner. Not much, just a tiny bit. You can build it up as little or as much as you want to get the look that you feel confident in. That's what I love about eyeshadow. You can do one swipe of a very subtle color, or you can keep building until it suits your taste. I really took a long time before investing in these rougher brushes because my concern was that it was just a lot of hype. But finally I broke down and got them, and I do really like them. If you're on a budget, definitely look at the Sonia Kashuk brushes. I have them, and I actually think they're really great brushes for the price. So now I'm just blending. I'm going to go back to that flat brush and this darker color. I just deepened the very corner up. Now I'm going to take my Sky High mascara and just hit my falsies. These are the Ardell 420s. This just helps if there's any powder on them to make them look a little fresher. And then I'm going to get the bottom lashes real quick. You know, I'm going to try something, even though I don't use shimmers that much. I'm going to take this little rougher 01 brush and just go into this shimmer for the inner tear duct corner. I don't want a lot, but let's just see how that looks. I'm just going to drag that in a little bit. Well, that's kind of pretty. I'm always afraid it's going to accentuate those little wrinkles there. But I like that. I think that's pretty for something subtle, for a little shimmer. Now for those that like a little bit darker under eye look or darker eyeshadow look altogether, this color is fantastic. Because it's daytime, I'm not going to darken the lower lash line, but that black comes in really handy. Let me swatch it for you. It's really just a really great color for making a smoky eye or enhancing the lower lash line. So I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario brow pencil and just give the brows a little oomph. This is a brow pencil I come back to a lot just because I think the color is great and the formula is nice. It's not too soft and it's not too hard. It lasts really well. I just think he did a great job on this brow formula. My natural brows are really sparse. I do have a little bit of brow micro shading and microblading, which I love for when I'm makeup free. But if I add makeup, I always feel like my brows need just a little bit extra. That's just my personal preference. I'm sure it'd be just fine if I didn't add any makeup to my brows. So I'm going to take the spoolie end and just brush it out a little. Probably need a little brow tweeze, but I haven't been feeling all that inspired to tweeze my brows or do a whole lot lately, except for heal from my surgery. And last but not least, and this makes a big difference, I'm going to take the Stila Stay All Day. This is the travel size. I'm just going to kind of disguise this lash band. You don't really see it, it's pretty delicate, but I think this step makes a difference. The Stila stays on super well. It's one that I've ordered over and over and over through the years. And then I'm just going to come into the inner corner and then sometimes I'll even just put a few dots in the outer corner of my lower lash line, just because I don't have much for lashes out here. All right, before I put on lips, I'm just gonna make sure the eyeshadow is blended. And I'm gonna wipe off my lips. A paper towel sometimes helps get some of the little bits off if you have dry lips. And I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. This is such a great color. It's kind of a pinky brown. It's not too brown and it's not too pink. I really like the shade. And I'm gonna show you my secret weapon for if you have dry lips, but you still wanna have your lips look like you've got a nice lip combo on. Okay, I'm gonna take my tiny little Aquaphor. You can use your big Aquaphor if you have a big tube. And this just fits nicely in my makeup bag. And I'm just gonna go over top of this. This adds a little gloss, but a lot of hydration and protection for dry lips. So let me pull these out and see if I salvaged my hairstyle. Just give this a little spray. And I'll give this side a little spray here. You guys, I got this for occasionally when I wear wigs, but this is like no nonsense if you do not want your hair to move. Sometimes I use a small bit of it. My hair is gonna need to be washed probably tomorrow, so I usually start out using lighter hairsprays, and then toward the end, I don't mind using a heavier hairspray when I know I'm gonna be washing the next day. So here is the finished look. I have to say, I really am impressed so far with these e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tints, and the fact that they have SPF make them a perfect choice for mature skin. A little tip if you're not used to wearing skin tints or any makeup, mix this with a little bit of regular sunscreen just so you get a small amount of tint. I don't think these are overly pigmented. I would say this is a light to medium coverage, but you can experiment with mixing these in with some moisturizer or some regular sunscreen. So definitely a tip if you have mature skin, but you don't want to look like you have makeup, but you want just a little refinement or some very slight coverage on your skin. I'll definitely buy these again, and I'll keep you posted as to how they wear. I really like the look. I think it looks beautiful. Let me know if you've tried these and what your thoughts are down in the comments below. That helps other people decide what to spend their money on. I always want to give you guys the best skincare and makeup advice for mature skin. Thank you so much for spending a piece of your day with me. Be good to yourselves and to others. I'll see you in my next video.